Hello, beautiful vegans, beautiful whole food plant-based eaters. I'm Mariquita Solis or Mariquita Solis and vegan empowerment coach. I'm excited that you're joining us. Let us know where you're joining from because we've got a great episode today. Plant Based in the Burbs with Sherri Johnson and Paige Parsons Roache, and they are the producers of Plant Based in the Burbs. Imagine that. So that's what we're going to be talking about: whole food, plant based living, how we can be activists, catalysts for others' change, right? How we can inspire other people to change to a healthier lifestyle. And I'm excited to hear their stories about how they transitioned and who were they before they became plant based in the burbs. So, welcome, Sherri and Paige, and everyone that's watching. If you're watching on the replay again, please let us know you're here. So, ladies, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I would love to hear about how let me know about how this all became. What were you like before, and compared to who you are now. Sherri, would you like to go first?
Well, of course. Well, let's see. I don't know where you want me to start, but I'm a mother and a wife. I have two grown children now, two grown men. And before became a vegan, I guess I was pretty much like everyone else. I consumed the American standard diet. And eventually, I've always been in health. And you get so caught up in the myth that we need to consume so much protein. And so I was in that because that's my industry. And so we were consuming a lot of whey protein, all the things they tell you to do. I don't know what happened. I started the church I was going to every year, they did a fast, right? So the beginning of the year, the pastor would put like this long piece of paper across the church, and you had the choice to pick whatever it is that you wanted to do this fast, to take control over your body. So I told my husband, I said, look, we're going to really get into this, and we're going to eliminate meat from our diet. And he looked at me like I was crazy, like I was about to kill him. So for 14 days, we went with no meat. Now, not saying we didn't have animal products, but we didn't have the meat products. So after the 14 days, I was feeling really good. And so I decided, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. And he was so angry because he wants to do everything I do. Like, he wants to live. He likes, if she doesn't eat meat and she lives longer than me, then I'm gonna have a problem with that. So he decided to do it too. And as we start to educate ourselves, then we realize that animal product was in a lot of things that we're consuming. And you're not really aware of where animal products are placed in your food items, right? So as we started educating, I saw What the Health, I think, was the one that really took me over the edge, and Game Changers, since that was really part of my industry, talking about how we need to consume so much dairy protein, animal protein. And after that, we just quit. My son also inspired because he became vegan before I did. So it was just after that, it was just no looking back. And then, like, I didn't really do it for the animals. Like most people have a reason why they do it. I was doing it for my health. But once you get into this community and you start to become aware and you educate yourself, then you really get to the point of what it means is to protect the animals and not to cause any harm. So basically, that's how I got into this community. And now I am with my wonderful co-host, and we're veganizing all of our favorite foods or cultural foods and things that we eat. And so it really has challenged us to learn. And that's pretty much it. But it has been really amazing. And I am just so happy that I'm in this community and that I made that choice.
That's wonderful. I love the family aspect of it here. And how old was your son? You said he went vegan before you.
Yes, I think Chase was either in his early, must have been 7 years. So yeah, 20. He's about 20, 21 when he just
That's
told me he wasn't going to eat any more eggs. And I looked at him like, what? You know, how you gonna do that? And eventually, after watching those documentaries, which really can inspire you and give you valuable information by science, that was really kind of like a catalyst to really make me think about, just to go all the way.
Definitely. And I love what you said about, I mean, veganizing the food that you used to eat, because I think about the soul food, which is so hard on our bodies. I feel so sad. I remember listening to Dr. Milton Mills talk about that, and how that this is just the food that has zero nutrients. I mean, a lot of this processed foods, but it's really sad, and how we're changing the communities of color. So thank you, Sherri. What do
Yeah,
you say to that?
I think though, alternative meats has its place, especially for us when you're first starting. You're so used to looking at your plate in a certain way that you always have a meat product, your carbs, and your vegetables. Well, the alternative meat has its place to help you transition, because really what happens to most people once they transition and really get deep down into the community, they eventually sway away from those alternative meats and learn other ways to cook their food. So it has its place. It shouldn't be something that we consume every single day, but it does have its place to help us come on over to the other side.
Right, like a stepping stone. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, you're right. And being very gentle with people, of course, being
Of
gentle with
course.
people.
Mhm.
Yes. So thanks for that story. So now I'm excited to hear Paige's story.
Thank you. Yes. Well, my journey started when my daughter came home at 13, middle school, and said she was going vegan. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And she had been doing some research on food waste and had seen some videos about animals and the way they're treated. And so, especially mother cows and their babies that are taken away for us to consume, cheese, dairy, ice cream, yogurt, cottage cheese, ghee, all the things that come from a mother's milk. So when I learned that she was going vegan, I being the mom in the kitchen and cooking meals and everything, I was like, okay, how's this going to happen? I got to figure out how to cook for 4, my son who's older, and then my daughter and my husband. There's going to be a tasty meal for everyone, because I don't want to be cooking like something different for everybody, right? And so I started learning more recipes and things like that. And some of them were complete fails, let me just tell you. But, you learn by error, trial and error. And then I sat down 6 months later and watched the movie COWSPIRACY. And in that film, I got to see the amount of resources that we use to, feed a cow to become a burger, and to feed a cow to become a mother, and then that take her milk. Is like all the water, the bus loads, the truckload, the football fields full of water just to grow that cow enough to make her, pregnant, and the milk. So I just was blown away by the grain and the resources. And being an environmentalist, I said, wow, I've got to make a change. I'm a hypocrite if I think I'm going to continue to consume what I have been consuming when there are other options. And I had been doing research 6 months worth. Katelyn and I had been going to different restaurants, trying different foods. I'm like, this jackfruit is something. I'm loving this. And these sweet potatoes, and I don't need a chicken in there. I got my sweet potatoes and some beans and an enchilada. Like, I was blown away by the combinations of new flavors that were mixing and matching into tasty, delicious dishes. And I thought, I'm not going to miss any of this chicken. I'm not going to miss any of this. Sushi was another thing, but let me tell you, I have figured it out. And I absolutely know now that what is going on when I watch COWSPIRACY. So COWSPIRACY was a big game changer for me. What the Health and COWSPIRACY, those 3 have been really, really powerful. And I watched the game changers in the theater. Everybody was cheering. We're like, whoa, protein from plants. So, I just feel like that's what led me to this decision to go vegan. And then we fell into this plant-based in the Burbs by accident. We're like having some fun. We're drinking some smoothies. Someone was filming us, and we were like, okay, maybe we could do something with this. And we like each other. So we were having fun. And we've fallen in love with each other because we are silly and goofy, but we have a very, very important message to let people know that if we can do it, you can do it. And that's what we're all about, is lifestyle and plant-based lifestyle, and how you can make those simple swap outs And we're here to show you how. So.
Well, that's very important. And I love your story about how your daughter led the way. That's amazing. Definitely. And so this is very, very important information because so many people feel overwhelmed. Like, what am I going to eat if I'm going to be vegan or plant based? I don't want to eat plants. I don't want to eat lettuce all day, right? I mean, how many times have we heard that? So help us out here. What would you tell someone new who's overwhelmed and scared that they're going to lose everything? You know, I'm not going to be able to go out with my friends anymore. People are going to think I'm weird. What am I going to eat? What would you all say to them?
You know, at first I would just say, you know, just really be easy with yourself. You know, just know that there could be slip ups and setbacks, you know, and yeah, it is going to be different and weird when you're around your friends because they just don't get it. But if you lead by example, you know, no matter what scenario or situation you sit in, you can always bring your food if you have to. If you decide that you're going someplace that may not offer, but nowadays you can find something vegan on a menu and you just order the food. I mean, it's just like, I remember one time Paige and I worked at the same gym, and that new place that we had the smoothies had was in our gym. It was an all women's gym, and they were giving out samples of food. I don't know if you remember this, Paige. And we were just eating little stuff. They had like little hors d'oeuvres, and then we ate it. And then after we ate it, we realized it was dairy. And or something was in it, remember? And we were like, oh my God, we just ate dairy. But I mean, things like that happen. And that's just no different than, like I tell my clients, when you work out and you messed up your day eating food, forget about that day and just move on forward and do a different thing the next day. So I would just say, be gentle, know what your why is and why you're doing this. That will make you stay consistent on your journey. And, you know, pretty much, I guess that's how I would say it. And maybe Paige will have some different tips for you, but you know, I would just be kind to myself like I'm kind to everyone else. And so that's how I would do it.
Want me to jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love that, Sherri. I love everything you said. And what I think about is when I was literally in the kitchen trying to figure out what to make, how am I going to swap out the chicken? Oh, chickpeas. How am I going to swap out pepperoni on the pizza? Oh, I'm going to come up with one of these tofurkey sausage things, you know. So I started to think, how am I going to swap out my lasagna? I started to put the polenta in it with the vegetables and layer it, and it turned out amazing, and no one was missing anything. So I think going with what you normally make, not trying to like, oh, I'm going to try this brand new recipe. Don't even know how to make it. Like, I still haven't dialed in like a chana masala. I love that. I don't know how to make that. I would never be like, okay, family, this is what we're going to have for dinner tonight and try to figure it out. I mean, now I do that a little bit more on our show with Sherri and I when we're live on Facebook weekly, or, when we're on. But I think that's key. I think trying new things. So in other words, trying new things when you're out. So then you can figure out maybe bringing those in. And here's the thing. Let's face it. It's all about texture, flavor, and a memory. Like sometimes we have like a special memory, like, oh, that's what my mom made, for after Christmas meal, or, oh, that's the holiday dish. And if you can just figure out how to make that your own from a vegan perspective without the dairy, the eggs, there are so many ways. And guess what? Search engines are our best friends, because we can go in there. We can TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Live. I mean, there are so many resources. It can be kind of overwhelming. There's tons of cookbooks, and you can just dial in. I want to make lasagna, vegan lasagna. Boom. How many times do I do that? I don't even know the chef. Thank you so much for helping me with this recipe. So that's what I would say. Be prepared, though, because there will be maybe some, things you kind of have to sort out. So maybe not the first time you're going to that potluck with all the meat eaters in your family and the hunters and and the folks who are like their own chefs, right? And they're very proud of their duck and their rabbit and their you know, their Kobe meats and all that kind of stuff, right? Figure it out first before you bring it to that potluck, or definitely dial in bringing a scrumptious dish and make extra, because people are going to want to try your dish because it's going to be something different. And if it tastes good, then they're going to want it. So that's what I got to say about that.
Well, that's great. That's great because of the potluck. That's an opportunity to bring awareness to these great meals, and people are very curious. They'll say they usually always want to try it just to see. And so that's important to bring something that tastes fabulous, scrumptious to that. Yeah, so those are some great tips. And well, I'd love to hear more about Unchained TV, because I remember when I first heard Unchained TV, I thought, wow, this is something radical, and I'm almost afraid of it, right? There it is, Unchained TV. It's like, oh my gosh, shocking. What is this? So tell us, what is Unchained TV?
I'll jump in on that. So Unchained TV is a global streaming network. Nothing to be afraid of. It's all free. You can dial into it. You can go to unchainedtv.com and watch now and watch content. You can also download it on your app on your phone. So you can have access to it, carry it around with you, show people videos, you know, check out our cooking shows on there. We have 6 in-studio cooking shows. Essentially, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's documentary, music videos, lots of inspiration, and lots of cooking shows. So you can literally go to unchainedtv.com and grab it. You can download it on your phone. You can also get it on your Roku, your Samsung, your Apple TV, your Fire Stick. So all you got to do is just download the app onto your television if you have those accesses. Yeah.
Great. And so tell us about your show, Plant-Based in the Burbs, on
Sherri,
Unchained TV.
Okay, so like Paige mentioned before, so Paige used to host lunch break lives. Okay. And this was part of Jane's network, where she would go into people's homes and have them make lunch, and they would record it. Right. So, of course, I've been on several, because when a guest didn't show up, I would fill in, or Paige and I would do it together, or Paige would do it all. So that's kind of how it started with the cooking and us having this chemistry together, which was really fun and quirky. And so like she said, we sat in the, that little juice shop, and we decided that we wanted to do plant-based in the Burbs. And I think Paige brought it to Jane, and the next thing you know, we're in our kitchens, you know, cooking. I think we started off with another show called The Shift Show. And we recorded it. And at that particular time, we were reviewing vegan products. Like, we would talk about vegan products. We would give them tips on things to snack on, showing them to eat nuts and seeds and all these good things that you could eat without cooking. That's how it started. And then eventually we end up going into this cooking show. And did we do those live the first time? I can't remember. We did them live together the first time. And then once COVID hit, then we just did it separately in our own kitchen. And we just been going full steam ahead. So it's been amazing.
That's wonderful. What about children? You know, children's nutrition. Is there anything on Unchained TV, or what would you speak about? I mean, I get very worried about my nephews, for one thing, not getting the nutrients they need, right? And what would you all say about that?
Well, I would say I know a lot of people who are vegan from birth. There are a lot of vegan from birth folks out there spreading messages, including Seba Johnson, who is an athlete, an Olympic athlete. So you can look up her and see what she did growing up. I've met a ton. Sessa Beck, who's a chef. I mean, there's a lot of them. Nimai Delgado has been a vegetarian since birth and vegan for a long time. He's a bodybuilder. So if you just tap in vegan children or how to raise a vegan child, you will find so much information. Amy Jean Davis, who is head of the Los Angeles Animal Safe Movement, the Safe Movement Global, she's raised her daughter. She's now 4, fully vegan from birth, and she's thriving. My daughter at 13 went vegan. And let me tell you, I'm just a little bit of, I wasn't quite sure how this was going to support her brain power because she was in middle school. She went on to be a valedictorian of her middle school and a valedictorian of her high school. And she's gotten straight A's in college, and she's going to be a veterinarian. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's working? I think it's pretty much. And she's a power lifter. She lifts. She's into it. She's got the gloves, the whole thing. She's in the gym. She's working out. She loves to work out, get that stress out. So I'm so proud of her. And there's so many bodybuilders like Tori Washington, badass vegan. Help me, Dom Thompson, Jahina Malik. You know, and a lot of people are winning awards for having power. So I just think, like, if you're looking, or you have creatives, maybe your child's in the creative space, there's a ton of vegan creatives. So I think we're just, it's time to demystify the idea that we need protein or specific nutrients that we think we're getting from meat, dairy, eggs, fish, and the like, and get educated, because we've been misinformed and we've been taught, and I'm going to say brainwashed, into believing those are the only places we can get our nutrients. So maybe you want to add more to that, Sherri. Go for it.
I do. One thing I have to say, like Kawani Brown, we just had her on our show. She's had 2 children. She's vegan. Her kids are raised vegan. The thing is that, like Paige said, the misconception of us needing certain amount of calcium from animal products is really a myth. I'm in a plant-based nutritionist certification course, and I'm reading a lot of medical research on all the things that we said we need for a child to grow up and to be strong and thriving is not the case. And also, too, you have to remember that the mother is the one who's making the food. It is her job that when she's cooking the food for her whole family, and you're vegan, that you are getting the nutrients that you need. Because think about it, the woman, in some cases, men do cook, they may be good chefs in the household, but majority of the moms are the ones who are providing the nutrients, regardless of what they're consuming. It's their job to make sure that the kids end up getting enough nutrients to thrive. So.
Definitely. Those are great tips. We've got so many vegan athletes now. You're right. And I thank you for pointing them out to inspire. What about men? I know that we have, sometimes it's hard to reach the male culture with with this meat is macho, meat eating. You see these turkey legs and all this. What would you say to that? Go ahead. Let's see. Sherri, tell me what you would say.
Well, I'm in the house. I'm the minority in my house. I have 3 men, but I'm sort of empty nester. I have 1 here. But my husband is a vegan. He's 6'3". He weighs about 200 something pounds, and he loves to eat. He's been a vegan with me for 7 years. And if you look, Sean Russell, who runs an organization down in Florida, he's vegan also. I think it's still, like Paige said, it's all about the marketing and the brainwashing that we've already had put in our brains since childhood, that this is the way we eat. And to be a man, you need to consume a lot of meat. What they're missing is we need to be consuming more fiber than meat. We are really in a deficit of fiber. Like, if you ask people, how many pieces of fruit do you eat a day? They go, girl, I don't eat no fruit. The sugar's bad. I'm like, why would you think that when this is a natural sugar that processes through your body quickly, instead of a, processed sugar? So, so I think that, I get sidetracked, but I just think men need to really just look at other examples of other men. If this is what they want to do, you really have to be wanting to make this commitment, because it is a commitment. And if you don't have the strength or the willpower, you can just fall back into your habit because you're surrounded by people who are consuming meat. So I just think that if they really want to do it, like Paige said, there's many. You can Google all these athletes and power lifters and runners and, all these male athletes, cyclists, football players, basketball players. Look at Brady. He's over 40, right? He's a vegan or plant-based. And look at him. He's still in good shape. He's still out there playing football with all those young people. So it really does have some power in being plant-based in the way your body performs.
Yes, and I want to ask you something that you were talking about juices, just because I have a question about juices. So, what about the juices that say they're not from concentrate and they've got all these vitamins and stuff, and compared to a juice that I juice at home, what's the difference? Oh, let's see, I can't hear y'all.
I'll let Paige take that. She's been
Yeah,
juicing lately. She's going raw. So let's let her tell us about it.
I think the most important thing is to look where it comes. So if it's from concentrate, that's not going to be your healthiest. Way better to go straight to the whole food and make your own. So even if the other day I didn't have a juicer, what did I do? I took one of those old-fashioned squeezy things, threw the orange on top, squeezed it, and made myself some fresh juice. And it was amazing. It was like, I did that. You know, my arms are stronger because I made 3 glasses of it with like 15 oranges. And I thought, you know what? You just do it. You do what you got to do. But you want to look at sugar content. So if there's any added sugar, don't drink that. That's not what you want to drink. Now, I'm also going to take it to the next level if it's in plastic. That's hard. But I'm, a no plastics person, because there's a lot of things about plastic that, as an environmentalist, I believe stick to the glass. So, and make it your own. So if you're out there and you can't get a juice and the only thing you can get is in a plastic, then go for it. But I carry glass around with me now. So if I'm at a fresh juice place, I said, can you put it in here instead? Like if they're making it for me, like a smoothie or something, I have one of these in my car. It's just the way I do it. As weird as that sounds, but that's just the way I roll. But the thing of it is, you want to look at sugar content. If it's not natural, if it says added this, things you can't pronounce, don't drink it. Don't drink it. That's additives. You don't need that. Go on to something else. Get an apple. It's better to eat an apple than to eat the juice that's had additives in it.
Well, that's great information. And Sherri, do you grow your own food and your own fruit, vegetables?
No, that's more Paige. Yeah, Paige does. I'm in the process of figuring out. I have a whole community of ground squirrels in my backyard, so it would be pretty challenging to grow vegetables because they would probably eat them before I get to them. I don't mind feeding the animals, but I don't want them eating my food. So I have to kind of figure that one out. But Paige is growing her own, so she can tell you all about her composting, which is amazing, in her garden.
Great. Yes, Paige is the expert here. So let's hear the expert.
Okay, wait, hold on. We're working it out. But right now I've got a beautiful basil plant. Let me just say that, because not yet, but we did try to grow a couple things already. We've grown some things, but again, you got to have it figured out how to work with the little critters. So one time we got a caterpillar overtaken. Next thing you know, that like one night we had the beans, the next day they were all gone. So that's our goal, is to figure that out outside, and we're doing above ground and then we're covering it. So I think that's part of like you just figuring out how to work with, because we have a lot of rabbits out here. So I could never but the rabbits aren't going to climb up, but the squirrels will. So, it's figuring it out and how to keep the aphids out and the little buggers. Yeah. So I am growing this basil in my windowsill, and I have grown some green, some green onions. You cut off the bottom, put it in water, and it grows. I've also grown lettuce that way. So there's things that you can do. And again, so much information is available when you Google grow your own. You will find so much. And I'll talk about compost in a little bit, but Sherri, what are you excited to grow? Because I think we're going to be growing together, like we talked about, like maybe, and then we could trade, because we don't live far from each other. So
yeah, I want to grow mushrooms. That's what I want to grow. I'm really, because I love cooking with mushrooms, and it's really difficult. Not difficult, but I guess I'm picky, like when I go in the store and I look at them and go, oh God, they don't really look like what I want. So, I mean, the best bet is to probably grow your own. So I'm really thinking about getting a mushroom kit. And mushrooms are so wonderful. They're so high in nutrition, vitamin D. They also prevent cancer, certain species of it. And they're just freaking good. They're a great meat alternative. You can pretty much do anything you want with a mushroom. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, probably doing that.
We're going to grow peppers and tomatoes. Those are two things I know that we could make happen. And I think some peas. I like snap peas a lot.
Oh, so do I.
Snack on those. Those are so good. Oh, that's a tip I wanted to tell everybody. Have healthy snacks around. We've talked about this. Celery, carrots, cucumbers, cut them up. You can make your own hummus. It's like 4 ingredients. It's super simple. You don't have to add the tahini, but you can. It's so easy. Make your own hummus. Have that out. Nuts, seeds. I have a bowl of them around the house, just sitting out right in the kitchen instead of chips and salsa, which is yummy, you know, for like Taco Tuesday, but having healthy snacks out, having cut up vegetables in your fridge and ready to go. So if you're leaving the house, you just grab a handful, put them in a little, you know, bag, cloth napkin and take them out. Or container frozen fruit on hand. So you're going to throw them into a blender. Those bananas are great. It's going to make a smoothie, you know, a smooth smoothie. You're going to
ice cream or cream, you know.
Yes, that's good. You're right. Not many things to add to that. That's your nice cream.
Nice cream,
yeah.
So what if you live in an apartment and how do you compost if you don't have a lot of room?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm just going to grab my compost here. So a lot of states are now making it a mandate that we find a way to compost our scraps. Why do we want to take our scraps out of the trash? Anybody want to guess? Okay, I'm going to tell you methane. So we're in a climate crisis. That is very true. We're heating up. We want to lower the heat. So the methane, what happens is you put your scraps in, it mixes with your trash and gets trapped and then creates gas, an off gas. So we want to reduce that. And we can do that. So let's just talk about maybe somebody out there, let's just go levels. So let's say you're at a home. Anybody can get one of these, right? You're going to put you can look it up. What do I compost? So I put all fruits and vegetables in here because I'm vegan. Tea bags, coffee grounds, banana peels, lemons, cuts of, you know, the tomato that went bad, all that kind of stuff. Then we have another, and then I like it with this on top. It's like a deodorizer. It like keeps it so the bugs are away, and then it keeps it fresh so it doesn't smell yucky. But we take this out pretty much daily. I have a larger compost outside, but I can now take it straight to my green bin. So you look up in your city, your state, your nation, wherever you are, and see what you can do. Guess what? The other thing I could do is literally go into nature, dig a hole, and plop this in there because it's going to basically decompose and become nature again. So become soil again. So if you're, you know, it takes a little doing. Like if you have like a trash can that you can put it in and then maybe on the weekend go someplace, or maybe there's somewhere in your neighborhood that is doing this. Maybe there's a community garden that they would like to have the compost to put into their major compost. It becomes like the community compost. So the other thing, the way I first started was I literally got a jar. This was my jar. 2 things. I had 2 jars. One for food scraps that I wasn't going to use for my veggie broth. One for my veggie broth food scraps. And I'm telling you, I'm doing it on a regular. Onions, carrot tops. I rinse it all out. Then I put them in here, the stuff that I'm not going to eat, right? And it's not gone bad, but it's the edges, you know, the ends and stuff. Then I put it all in a pot. I freeze it for a while. Then I take it out, put it in the pot, because unless I'm going to make it right then. And I boil it, and then or simmer it. You can boil and simmer and let it sit for a while. And then I strain it, and that's my veggie broth. Those are some tips for you. So we can all take the food scraps out of the trash and put them into either a green bin or your own personal compost that then you're going to put into your soil somewhere. You can also, some people, what they do is they chop it up really small. And then if they have plants outside, they'll dig under and put them underneath there too. So that's another thing you can do.
Great. That's great.
This is very informative because I have squirrels. So I thought, what if I put this outside? The squirrel's going to come, or rats are going to come. I mean, I like rats, but the neighbors might not, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. The neighbors will be like, how are you attracting rats, or what's going on here? So let me ask you this. So if I have my little can, how long before I can put it outside, dig it, you know, can I take it right away, or can I take a banana peel and just bury it and everything? I'm sure that would be fine, right?
If you think you might have rats, I would come up with another solution than sticking it straight into your backyard. That's what I would suggest if you're worried about critters. So look into whatever your city, state, your region, your village is doing, and see if you can't come up with some kind of community connection. Because like I said, here in the state of Los Angeles, state of California, it's a law now. You have to take it out. So they're rolling out initiatives. They're actually giving people bins so then you can put it into the green trash. So do you have that accessible? If you don't, then I wouldn't suggest putting it in your own. I would go find somewhere in nature and stick it in nature, dig a hole. Because if you're worried about them coming, let's get that worry off your mind and put you in a place, in a state of calm. You don't want to be worried about this, but you can buy one of these, at Target. You can buy these wherever you can, your garden store. They have these now. You don't need to buy the other things. If you want to go loamy is a full system. Overnight, it just breaks down into soil. So, but I'm not a distributor. I don't know much about it, but I heard about it last night from Billie Eilish's mom. Maggie Baird is a huge supporter of loamy. She's like, this is the coolest thing ever. And she was talking about it last night at an event that I was at. And I was like, maybe I should look into it for people to suggest it. Except for it's not inexpensive. It's about $500. So just so you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I like to give people things they can do without having to buy something else big. This is like $20. Or you put it in. I have put it in sealed containers too. I've done that as well, and just use the sealed container on my counter, and then I take it and move it out there. Yeah. So.
Well, those are some great ideas, because I want to do the organic garden at my church. So I bet you they would like this. So yes, definitely. And what's the easiest vegetable? What would be easy vegetables to grow for someone like me who seems to have killed all vegetables that she's ever planted?
I think tomatoes are very hardy. Tomatoes may be easy to grow. They're very hardy. And what is this? Something else that grows pretty sturdy. Like the sturdy greens grow pretty well. But when you have squirrels like I do, another way you can do is they have that tower garden. I don't know the specific name of it, but it's something that you can actually have in your home. And it takes up a small amount of space. And I mean, I don't know how tall it is, but when you look, like, you can Google it. And they grow pretty much everything out of that tower. You have your little holes, and everything starts just coming right out. It looks amazing. So if you do have a small space, or you live in an apartment and you still want to grow your own, you can always look into those towers.
That's a good idea. I've seen those before, and that seems like it would be more practical for me. What about the seeds? Do the seeds have to be organic, and how can you be safe? Can you get like you were talking about, getting the onion and then planting it? You could buy an organic onion and plant that, but can you just go get the natural, the fruit or vegetable, and take that organic fruit and vegetable and then create from there?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not sure about the seeds, or if they're organic. I thought that when you grow your own food and you're not putting any type of pesticides on it, that considers it organic. I could be wrong. Paige, what do you think?
Well, I'm not an expert. I'm going to just say that. I'm an expert in composting. So we're learning how to garden. I think the best thing to do is turn to the experts, search it and find it. I think there are very little organic seeds, but there's the best you can do. And I do believe the soil is important. That's why I'm making my own soil with the composting. Because that's what happens is it breaks down into, then I can use that soil to plant in my garden. That's what you're doing with the food scraps. So I think that's important that you look into what soil you're using, because a lot of soil does include animal products in the soil when you buy soil at a garden store. So you want to look at what's in there.
Wow. I didn't know that. I guess I did know that. Manure, how could I not know that? I mean, that's animal product, right? Yes. And so if you don't, let's say I'm living in a place that doesn't have healthy soil, how long would it take for me to do this composting to get my soil healthy again? Do you know?
I'm not certain about that, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a resource, fccompost.com. So we can write that in the chat, fccompost.com. It has a bunch of information there. You're going to find so much. And I'm an educator with FC Compost. And I'm teaching preschoolers how to seed and compost. It's really cool. Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to, if we could just kind of bring us back to the plant-based and the Burbs, I want to say we're a lifestyle show. So I want to talk about Let's Chat. I thought maybe, Sherri, you could share a little bit about Let's Chat on our Instagram, what we're doing over there, because it's so much fun and how we're pivoting. We've got the 6 shows on Unchained TV that you can watch, the 6 free on Unchained TV. But maybe, Sherri, you can tell a little bit about what else we have going on coming up.
Okay, so Paige and I, we always have been thinking about how to evolve what we're doing, and we know that our vegan lifestyle, plant-based forward, whatever you want to label it, we want to share with everyone how the whole lifestyle is, like, as far as what makeup you wear, if this is your thing, because we have people who do other things, but I'm just saying we're giving people information that they can make decisions on if they want to buy skincare products that have animal products in them. So we started off with, it was called What's in Your Bag. And it was on IG Live, we did it. And we would just have people come on and we'll ask their origin story and just 3 simple questions. And then the last one that we want to know is what's in your bag. So basically we thought about that. Let's dig a little deeper. And so we started to come up with Let's Chat. And Let's Chat is still an informal conversation with people in our community or those who are curious to get into the community. It's IG Live every Tuesday at 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we've been having some amazing people on, guests on, and we just have a conversation, similar to what you're doing with us, and what they're doing. How can we support them? Because we're all about uplifting our community and those who want to enter, and to support them. So it's been really amazing. And so if you want to catch us Tuesday at 11:30 on IG on Sherri, on Instagram at 11:30 and 2:30. Every Tuesday we have guests lined up to almost to the end of February. So it's been pretty amazing. Yes, thanks, Paige.
What time zone is that?
Pacific Standard Time is the Western, I guess, Western, like Arizona, Vegas, California, and then Eastern Standard Time is on the East Coast.
No, I mean, your show is 11 Pacific time?
That's 11:30 Pacific time, AM, and 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, PM. And it's really fun. And if we don't have guests, we'll have a conversation. If anyone is on our live, we will invite them to come in if they want to have a conversation with us. So it's really free-forming. It's just amazing. It's been great.
That sounds fun. Tell us more about your shows.
Paige, you want to chime in?
Sure, I'll jump in. So some of the other things that we're doing is we are going to be coming up with a cookbook. You're going to want to see that. Now, let me just say a little bit more about our 6 in-studio shows, just so y'all can catch it. You can literally scan that bar and I'll hold it there. You can always go back and watch and download right there. But what we're doing is we're showing you simple swap outs. That's our goal. We want to make this so that it is accessible to anyone, men and women, young and old, that you watch our show and you're like 7 minutes later, I can do that too. That you're feeling inspired and uplifted. And that's what we're committed to also with our Instagram live shows, that the people that we bring to you, our guests, are showing you what they're up to in the community. Who knew Kawani Brown created a vegan, gluten-free, tasty, crunchy marshmallow that you put into your cereal like a Lucky Charm, all vegan, all natural. She created it. She blows my mind. What an entrepreneur. It's called Supernatural Marshmallows. I mean, I just am blown away by people who come with a concept and then make it happen, which segues me to something else that Sherri might want to share, because she's a fitness expert. And let me tell you, she has something that she's going to tell us. Sherri, I cannot not say something here about what I wore to the gym, what I still wear on my walks and my hikes. And they got pockets on the side. I'm just going to give you that. And when I'm out there in nature, I'm putting trash inside the side pocket on one, my keys, my lips, chapsticks, and my phone is in the other. Sherri, what's that all about?
You're so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. Well, I am launching a activewear, women's activewear line. I have some yoga pants, and we have a bra now. It's all created here, sewn and cut here in Los Angeles, California. Actually, we're getting ready to do a photo shoot this month, which I'm so excited because this has been a long journey, but it is still moving forward. And so the pants are just amazing. They're just functional, and they're cute, and they're excellent quality because I wore them every single day as a trainer in the gym. That was something that it was part of my workout. And I wore that. I still wear it. I mean, I'm still training clients, and I'm still wearing W29. So it's really amazing. So once we launch, I would definitely love everyone to check it out and get your body moving for just 30 minutes a day. And you can look good in W29 while you're doing that.
That's a great idea. I mean, the idea of like, I'm always out in the woods and I see trash, and then I have my little doggy poop bag, but that can only go so far. So that's very helpful. This is exciting. So tell us more about, I mean, what's upcoming? What about your future? I mean, the future, it looks like you all have just passions galore here, So, what's going to be happening for you in the long term? What do you have going on in the next 20 years, Paige? Do you have anything that you really, that's a big question.
That's a big question. And with climate healers and Dr. Silas Rao, there's information. We got to make some food system changes. We also have to support those in marginalized communities that are being affected by what we do in the larger countries, and how we're basically taking advantage and ruining certain communities by our actions. So I think everybody, if we take individual responsibility for personal action, then we can make changes on a global scale. So I think getting educated, I hung out with Isaiah Hernandez, who's a global vegan environmentalist. His handle is Queer Brown Vegan. He teaches me every single day. He's in his 20s. And everything that comes out of that gentleman's mouth, I just hang on, because I just want to be better for his future. And I want to do what he says, because he's basically spelling it out, how to do the right thing and speak out. So I'm saying your name, Isaiah, because that's one thing that he said, is say my name in communities so that people know him. And then he becomes a leader that's hired to help organizations and systems change. So that's a big part. So when I think about 20 years, man, I'm just working on right now. So let me say we're going to be at the Tarzana Community Center doing I think we have a little feedback, doing a community pop-up. I'm really excited about the pop-up that we have coming up. And we also have some other opportunities where we'll come and cook and show a dish, show you how to make a simple dish, and tell you why you would do a walnut taco, and walnut meat taco, and why that's so important, or a nut meat. We also are crossing our fingers that we're going to be in the learning kitchen at the Veg Fest LA. We're pretty sure we're going to be in there, but that's coming up in May. We also have the Vegan Climate March, which is coming up. And, I'm going to be marching out there. I'm going to let Sherri, pass this to Sherri, to talk about the Vegan Food Bank, because some of the things that we're doing also is outreach. And that's very important to us as well. So, and we have a TikTok coming. We have our website. We're working on, there's lots of things that are coming. So plant-based in the Burbs, that's going to be everywhere on all the social media. So just so you know, you can go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, and you can go on Unchained TV right now and watch those shows. But Sherri, you want to talk a little bit about what we're doing as outreach?
Yes. Thank you, Paige. Gosh, I feel so tired already. We got so much stuff going on. You know what? We had the opportunity and a pleasure to help Gwenna Hunter, who runs the only vegan food bank. I think it's in the United States, correct? And we volunteer for her as Vegans of LA, and she has a food bank, and we volunteer every third Thursday. We go with her into the community and we help give out fresh vegetables or whatever donators give to her, and we help those who are in need. So it's really been very rewarding. They also have an outreach where Paige and I are trying to figure out our schedule, where they go to USC and they help some of the students there who have food disparities, like a lot of vegan children, I have to say children to me, but young adults have issues with food. And I know my son went to that school too, and he was literally starving there because, they don't make allowances for vegan per se community. So they do go out. She partners with the church. I really don't know the name of the church, but I do know the pastor's name is Sonny. And they partner and they do a food, a food giveaway there. And then they also partner with the church, a local church in that neighborhood, where they also give fresh fruits and things like that. So they want to, I think we were thinking about going to help assist in the kitchen, because more hands on deck can help them prepare more foods and get things going. And for me, growing up in a community and with a single mother, sometimes food was challenging. So I can understand how important it is for children to be fed, and even young adults to have food, and even mothers, because sometimes mothers will give up their food to make sure their children are eating. So we don't want to have that happen to them. So I think this is kind of like the most rewarding part of our plant-based in the Burbs, is to give back, and being with these beautiful people who have the heart and the compassion to want to do that. So Gwenna Hunter, we give it to you, girl.
That's wonderful. I mean, that would sound like it's very, very fulfilling, and it's very inspiring, because I know that when COVID hit and all the food banks and helping with food banks here, I saw that a lot of there weren't many. I mean, there's some that do give nutritious, vegetables and fruit, but a lot of it's junk, like raviolis and things that are full of processed, without nutrients and everything. So it's very inspiring that there is actually a vegan food bank. And what do people say about that? Do they know it's going to be vegan when they come? Are they like, well, I don't want to eat this? Now, I'm sure they probably don't say that. They probably say thank you. But what's the reaction?
I will tell you, they're lined up around the block as early as 1 a.m. and we start at 8 a.m. No kidding. And these are people who are living paycheck to paycheck. Some are houseless, but most of them are barely making it. So they need that support. And now let me tell you, when we had the Just Eggs last week, Just Eggs donated. So we do get some plant-based foods that are prepared that we can hand out. It's grocery. They walk by. Would you like the kale? Yes. Would you like the squash? Yes. Would you like cauliflower? No, thank you. I had a couple of people say no, thank you, for whatever reason. And then would you like the Just Eggs? And we have people who are speaking Spanish. There's a lot of Spanish speaking. So meanwhile, I was hearing huevos rancheros. I was hearing how you could scramble your eggs, and people were saying how they were grateful because the egg prices are so high. So we were handing them a solution. So beans, rice, grains, nuts, seeds, fresh fruits and vegetables. We're not talking stuff that's bad. We're talking about beautiful organic fruits and vegetables. Gwenna talks about food worthiness. Everybody is worth having a delicious, healthy meal. We do not need to give people the offsets, the like expired foods, or like a lot of times they'll get a big thing of ranch dressing that they're like, what am I going to do with this big thing or big chunk of cheese that's about to expire? And they feel like they have to eat that. And that's clogging their arteries. That's got cholesterol in it. So these solutions are ways that people can be left healthy, nourished. Because, you might be eating something, but are you getting nourishment? Are you getting nutrition? Or are you hungry 10 minutes later, half an hour later? So that's the other thing is really being part of the solution. And that's what we're committed to, being part of the solution. And that's my message out there for anyone who's watching as well. Look to be a part of the solution. So there's lots of ways. One is watch Unchained TV, because that'll give you solutions. There's lots of documentaries in there. There's lots of lots of entertainment, but also solution-oriented documentaries and mini docs and lots of content in there. But then the other thing is Climate Healers. If you want to go to climatehealers.org, we have a convergence coming up this weekend. It's free, or you can donate. You get to participate on a Zoom, or you can watch it live on Facebook and get solutions of how you can get out there and take action. I know a lot of you already are. So thank you for the work you do, because you have people who are out there making solutions happen. But if you're sitting there wondering, well, shoot, I could do more, you can do more. Clickable activism is a big deal. Sharing out this post, sharing out stuff from Unchained TV, that's a big deal. Going on liking our posts, commenting on things on Plant-Based in the Burbs. We appreciate that, and also, watching things from PETA, watching things from Mercy for Animals, diving into content from Dr. Milton Mills and sharing some of that out, Switch for Good. Oh, there's so much great content there. So being someone who's a consumer of content and then sharing it out is a way you can be an activist. What about you, Sherri? What are your thoughts on that?
You nailed it. I was just going to think about Switch for Good. I mean, there's so much information, and that's one of the things about when you come into this community and most people talk about what they can't get rid of, it's cheese, right? So you can either read the book, The Cheese Trap, which gives a lot of information. I think that's Dr. Neil Bernard, if I got the name right, I'm not sure. You can read The Cheese Trap. It'll tell you why you're so connected and addicted to cheese. I mean, so when you look at these websites, they give you so much information and you understand, why am I having such a hard time getting rid of this? When you read the information that they're showing you, then you'll know why, and then you should be able to shift from that. So like she said, Google is your best friend. Anything I want to know about, because I don't know everything. I mean, every day we're still learning something new. There's so many cool people on Instagram that are vegan, raw. I mean, there's so many facets to it, and that you can learn something from everyone and implement it in your diet if it resonates with you, or you can just, consume the content. So that's kind of what I would say.
And Sherri, I just want to point out, her recipe that she got inspired on TikTok or Instagram for a tofu salmon. You heard that right. A tofu salmon. Now, I made a tomato poke bowl, but it tastes fishy. And that was from Chef Charity Morgan, whose husband was a former NFL football player. And she started cooking. She's in the Game Changers. Charity Morgan. She's got the best book. I don't have it here, but it's so great. Check it out. Cookbooks. Buy those cookbooks because they're so inspirational. I love holding the pages. But anyway, tell us about that. I mean, what?
Oh, you know what? There's a young lady I follow. I think her name is Honey Bunny Chef or something, or Chef Honey Bunny. And she did this. Everything she makes is, I just want to make it all, right? And so I saw this tofu salmon. I said, you know what? I have to say, I used to love fish, like Paige says. Sushi was one of the hard things to get rid of, right? Until I saw it's before COWSPIRACY, but I'm just saying. So I said, okay, let me make my own. It's super easy. You just marinate the tofu, cut it in the shape of a salmon fillet. You marinate it with a certain ingredients that give you, and some beets, because that gives it that pink color, right? And then you marinate it. And then when you're ready to sear it, you put a little bit of nori over the top of it to, emulate the skin. And then you sear it. I'm telling you, it's so, so good. And, the thing is we eat with our eyes, right? We eat with our eyes and smell. And when I'm eating this, I think I'm eating my salmon tofu. I'm eating my fish, and it is literally my fish, and it has all the sea vegetables in it. Like your nori gives you that iodine you need in your body, and omegas, so you're not missing out on anything.
Well, those are some great tips, and that now the channel that you were saying that I can't remember, Make the Switch, maketheswitch.com. Is that right? Or where's Make the Switch?
It's switch4good.org.
Oh. Switch for Good. See, I'm getting it all tangled up. Switch for Good, everybody. Don't listen to me. Switch for Good. Okay. .com. And these are great tips here. And let's just do our little promos before we leave. Here's who I am: vegan empowerment coach. If you're depressed, sad, come to me for vegan empowerment coaching. And Sherri and Paige, tell us, let's round this up with the Unchained TV. I'm going to put that on the Roku stick right after this. Get my Roku and get with the deal here. I'm missing out. So I'm so glad you all gave me the honor of coming on here. So tell us more where we can find you. Any final notes that you have?
Okay, you can find me at Paige Parsons Roache on all social media, and you can find us at Plant-Based in the Burbs. Over to you, Sherri.
Yes, the same for me. You can find me on Instagram at Sherri Cherie. Facebook, I'm on Facebook as well. And like Paige said, you can find us on Plant-Based in the Burbs on IG. We also have a Facebook page. And you can look for us because we're going to be coming out with all these amazing things. Our YouTube channel, we're going to have a cookbook coming down the pipe. We're trying to do all these amazing things so that we can like Paige said, if we can do it, you can do it. And one thing I also want to say is that, most people think that when they get a certain age, they can't make a shift. I'm already old, or whatever you want to say, or you're set in your ways. Look, anyone can make the shift if you set your mind to it. It's no different than working out every day. You want to take care of your body, you can put in that just 30 minutes every day. You can make the shift in changing your diet to be more healthy, more nutritious, and give you longevity. And we already know from science that having a plant-based vegan diet will help you do that. So, what are you waiting on?
That and the compost. Go ahead, Paige.
Well, compost and grow your own where you can and how you can. Simply make it simple. If you got a start small and grow your own. Yep, go to Unchained TV, check it out. Plant-Based in the Burbs. We're here for you. If we can do it, you can too.
Amen to that. Yes. All right. So everybody, there's no excuse to sitting around and not taking action. The three of us, reach out to us. You can find me, mariquitasolis.com, Mariquita Solis Facebook. If you're stuck, one of us will light your fire. So we're here. We're waiting for you. So don't sit on that couch, not taking action. We can be composting, watching Unchained TV, getting out on the street, stepping up for animals and planets. We're going to do it together. So thank you, ladies. I'm very inspired. I'm supercharged by you all. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody that's watching on the replay. Thank you, Sherri. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure. It's been really fun.
Thank you so much. Yep. And get involved, helping people, animals, and the planet. Thank you so much.
Volunteer if you can.
Yeah. Reach
Amen. All right. Namaste vegan, everybody.
Namaste vegan.
Namaste vegan. I love that.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching us. And subscribe to our channels.
Yes.
Subscribe.